Thanks for joining us at Tangent Mouse Studio 3. Today we're comparing all the different big box expansions for Everdell.
Welcome to Tangent Mouse Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we're talking about one of our favorite board games, Everdell.
Everdell was published in 2018 by Starling Games and now currently features 5 different expansions. If you'd like to learn more about the base game, you can check out the review that we did a little while back on our channel.
Today we're going to be giving a brief overview of each expansion and then talking a little bit about how we like to play them and which ones we enjoy more, and maybe we'll even argue over which one is the best.
Let's do it! Alright, so the game does feature, we've got 4 expansions here. I realized we actually don't have the box for the 5th one. We've got the Mistwood Everdell cardboard. And we've got the expansion cards for the game. This we received as a prototype a while back, and so we're going to be talking about that one as well as the other 4 major expansions. Maybe we can do those in release order. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know what order we actually want to do them in. The first one to be released was the Brook expansion in 2019, so a year after Everdell came out, which you need to go watch that other video if you don't know about it. But all kinds of really cool wooden meeples that are cool little animals, tableau building card game that features a cool Evertree and 3 seasons where stuff happens. In Everdell Brook, tell us a little bit about what happens in this one. Just super brief, what do you remember?
So this one, there are cards that will come out that you have a requirement to be able to even access them. And everyone also gets a little frog meeple that they can use, and you have to use the frog to take the actions on that new expansion board. And there are pearls, which are very valuable and are difficult to acquire, but they do give you victory points, and there's specific cards that will give you events and other things that you can use the pearls to pay for in the game.
Those events are huge victory point things. In the original game, you had some like goals that you could achieve by collecting cards of that type, and you would get a grand total of you would get a grand total of 5 victory points, 3 or 4. I don't even remember. I need to look at these things before I write a script. And in this one, these wonders that it comes with are like 15, 25 huge point totals. Yeah. That's how I always win the game. I'm just going to say it right out of the gate. This one is my favorite of the expansions. The pearls are shiny and cool and great. The board that it adds to the side looks cooler than I think the other boards do. And the wonders, the events, I don't know what they're called.
They're wonders, yeah.
The wonders are just cardboard, but they're big and cool. And like when you collect them and add them to your stash, and you're like reminding everyone, like, I got the huge one over here the whole time. That makes it one of my favorite expansions.
I find the pearls difficult to acquire. I don't, maybe I don't.
You gotta work hard to get them, this is true.
You do. And I find it a little difficult to gain them, and then I have too many places I want to spend them, so I never gain enough. I want to gain more, but they are difficult.
Alright, so up next is Belfair. This one is probably my least favorite one.
Well, it gives you it gives you a market to work with, and
it kind of like you can remove the Evertree if you want to for this one, which I don't like. I like the Evertree, so don't be getting rid of it. And then it adds like player boards, which is kind of fun. It kind of gives you a place to store all your stuff, which is nice. And then it gives you this additional area where you can like trade things, which is kind of a good idea. I just don't ever find myself using it. So you can like trade in 3 berries for money, or later it like swaps and then you can trade the money for berries. So it does kind of open up some potential flexibility. I just usually find that I am able to get what I want in other places.
I do like that it has the new event, which is one of each kind of card. I almost always get that first, because I never focus really hard in 1 or 2 areas of color when I'm trying to build out my tableau town. And so I always go for this first. That's a nice bonus for me at the end, because I don't always get the event cards quickly. We'll just get there.
In-game goals! Next in the lineup is Everdell Spire Crest. Now this one is kind of brutal. This expansion adds another board. So all the expansions that we mentioned so far add an additional board somewhere to the main board. This one adds one to the bottom of the board, and it's going to send your meeple on an adventure track throughout the seasons of the game, and you're going to reveal new struggles that are going to come, and it's going to usually end up being like in the winter, it's going to be you have to spend more to buy stuff, or everything costs you an additional resource, and so the game makes itself a little bit more difficult. It does, however, balance out and give you a giant Animeeple, although these are all Animeeples, I don't know what it's called, that
They're
your
big
meeple
critters with saddles
can ride on, which is cool.
Yes. Each big critter has a unique ability, and you'll gain that card. I don't like how you acquire those cards because there is a chance you won't get a big meeple depending on what comes out. So
Because you might not want it.
Well, you might not want it, or it might not even be a choice. Like, there's a deck of cards that get revealed, and you're allowed to select one of them at the end of the season, and there may not have been one that comes up.
Kind of first come, first choose, or...
Well, no, it just may... When it's your turn to select something, it may be all other cards. And some of them are good.
Finished the season earlier and got the cool one and left
Well,
you.
no, if somebody gets one and then a new one comes out...
You can't both have the same Animeeple.
No, I'm saying it's based on what's in the deck. So if there isn't one available when you finish the season, you're just kind of out of luck.
Right.
You do have to allocate a meeple to ride it, so you are losing other
But you don't
action.
have to.
You don't have to, but you want to most of the time. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want your meeple getting to ride a big critter.
And do extra bonus stuff.
I don't mind that there is something harsh that happens. You can always choose not to play with that portion.
Can you?
Yeah, you can choose not to play with that portion.
We choose to play however we want, so yes, you can.
Yes. Well, it's your play. You can choose what you would like to do. You're adding an expansion. You can use what portions of the expansion you like.
And you can play with all the expansions at the same time.
Yes, you can.
Even though you're not supposed to.
We usually, when we play with this one, we always add in the discovery cards that you go on your expedition. So those I find nice because I can plan the whole game to gain those victory points at the end. And
so they're like these scroll things that you place in a row, and you have to
do them in order.
Those resources at the end of the game in order to collect those victory points. So yeah, stacking those up and like keeping track of your resources, it does make you have to pay attention to your in-game resources way early in the game.
Yeah, which is fine if you're planning on playing that way.
Yeah.
This one, I didn't like it the first time I played it because it was difficult. But now that I've played Everdell as many times as I have, I don't even know how many times, probably over 20 to 30.
In the last 2 years.
Yeah. I've grown to like it more. I don't mind adding the difficulty to
I agree. I love the box cover art for this one. Even though Brook is my favorite expansion, this one is beautiful. I do love the giant critters. It introduces some really fun stuff into the game. Mistwood, like all of the other expansions, does add additional Animeeples to your deck or your collection. I don't even know how many Animeeples we have. There's so many. It's crazy the number of them that are in there. And if you get the expansion stickers that was in the newest version, then they're super
You're going
adorbs.
to be stickering for days.
This one introduces like a 1 and 2 player game, so you do get the solo player variant in this one. You're fighting against the Nightshade Spider, or whatever her name is. We don't play a lot of single player games together, obviously we don't. So we don't get into this one as much, but if you are looking for solo or 1 to 2 player games, you definitely need to check out Mistwood. And then the final expansion is New Leaf, which is, it adds a train station to the right side of your board, and it's going to be bringing in a bunch of visitors into your forest that are going to allow you to score a lot of different ways to score victory points at the end of the game.
Yeah, so it's got new ways to score points. It also adds on to the market of cards that are available. Instead of just the meadow, there's additional cards, and those cards give you resources, which makes it my favorite expansion. I find it difficult to gain resources depending on how our board is set up with what forest cards are available. So I do enjoy that you get a bonus resource.
It is like a plethora.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think this one, we've played a lot of the other expansions like just the base game and just the expansion. I think we've only played this game with several other expansions at the same time, which I think is maybe a downfall because those victory points that those passengers can bring you are kind of huge, and I feel like I usually don't have enough workers to go claim the victory points because I'm like working in other areas. We need to play this one as just the two of them to see if we can like focus more on that, because if I wasn't trying to also get pearls and get everything else, like I think I could really leverage the visitors that are coming in, which is pretty cool, which I'm missing out. I need to play more, obviously.
I usually forget about the visitors I'm too far into the game. I realize, I haven't got any visitors. And then I'm like trying to sneak a meeple over because I realize nobody else has got any either. Here's my chance.
Right. If we played it with just the base, I think it would be less sneaky and more intentional, which would be interesting. Got to try that one out. Is this your favorite one? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. Anytime you get more resources to do more stuff, it's got to be a win.
This is a good balance. I think what we should do is play Spire Crest and New Leaf together.
I think
just
these
the two of them
would balance the difficulty of Spire Crest because this just gives you additional items. It also, the action at the bottom of the board is very powerful. It's you wipe away cards from the available market from the meadow and the train station, and then you can select what you want. So it's like otherwise, sometimes those meadow cards sit there for a while.
They do.
I do like that it gets rid of some of them.
I feel like it also introduced...
And you can get rid of what everybody else wants. It does have the token that allows you to reserve things if you wanted to save something that you can't afford at this moment or you don't have an action to pick up, you can save it. But I'm usually...
And pay one less resource, which is pretty great. That is one of my favorite additions. I was like, man, it took them all the way till now to be able for me to save that card that I can't afford just yet. I do like that a lot. I feel like New Leaf is a fixer. Like it does, not that there was really anything wrong with it before, but the rules that it introduces are like all the things that I have, would have complained about before. Oh, I can't save that card. I wish I could get it. I can't afford it. I'm one resource short. I wish there was a way to clear the forest. It does do a good job of like improving the overall experience.
And I don't know if it's Mistwood or this one. I'm getting confused about which critter cards come on, because there's new critter cards that come with them. I do love that there are new critter cards that allow you to pair with a construction that's just any green construction. That fixes the game for me. I did not like Everdell the first 3 or 4 times I played it. It was very frustrating with Will because whatever cards I'd start with or I could gain, I would never get the matching pair. And so he's like laying all these free cards the whole time. And I'm like, if I don't draw or they're not even coming up available, then it becomes very difficult. And it was frustrating. This fixes that for me. It also, there's some new farm cards that allow you to gain different things besides just what the base farm card did. So there's some of them cost a little bit more, but they give you much better resources. So I do enjoy that as well.
I agree.
The New Leaf.
Which one do they have? Like you get Everdell. What's the first expansion to add?
New Leaf is the easiest. It doesn't add any mechanic difficulties. There's a way to get endgame cards. There's a way to, if you're frustrated about not getting the critter pairs, that action at the bottom of the board, and then you're getting more resources. This one is honestly one of the easiest ones to add to the base game.
Which one do you not need? Do you need them all?
You could live with, if you didn't want to make it harder, you could live without Spire Crest. I do like I think Belfair has the animal powers.
I was actually going to get rid of Belfair. If I had to get rid of one.
I kind of like the individual player powers. It kind of gives you a little bit of edge over...
I think some of the new ones must also come with player powers. I don't remember which ones, but
anytime they add new meeples...
them, but I don't...
Yeah, anytime there's new faction of meeples, there's also the card that goes with that other expansion. So
maybe that's true.
Yeah. So
I could live without this one because I feel like it just kind of repeats some of the things that are already going on in the game. The player boards are kind of nice, but they're not like I can live without them. So that would be my ditch. I think once you get pretty good at Everdell, like you were saying, like you need a little bit of that extra difficulty, so that's why I like Spire Crest. As I said before, I think Brook is a great addition. I play it every time. Mistwood is obviously not on my high list because I don't do a lot of solo playing, but yeah, I think I think if I was gonna redo it and get them in order, I think I'm going Everdell, Pro Brook because it's so fun. New Leaf. Maybe Spire Crest first. I don't know. And then Belver at the end just to top it all off. If you buy the Ultimate Junior Humongous Collector's Edition one, I don't remember what it's called, the big box final set. It has everything in it that you could ever need. Plus, I think it comes with the stickers. That might have been a bonus one. And we also got a hold of the wooden or plastic tree,
the wooden Evertree,
which is far more durable than the cardboard because my cardboard one was seeing better days. Yeah, super fun stuff. We highly enjoy Everdell. If you enjoy tableau building games that give you just tons of stuff to chew on and a lot more to add to it, a 3-player game with all this takes about 3 hours, would you say? Mm-hmm. So that's your game range. You're probably looking at like an hour for the base, and then by the time you get all these puppies in there, a 3-hour gameplay.
We did play a
fills up
full
your entire
everything.
table.
We used everything.
A couple times now, yeah. And I love that. It does kind of break and get a little hung up, and people finish the game 20 minutes before somebody else finishes the game, but good stuff. Check out Everdell. Thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing. We'd love to know what you think about Everdell in the comments. Which is your favorite expansion? Do you hate any of them? Do you love all of them? Do you feel
what's your ranking?
Yeah, you don't need them. What's your thoughts? We'd love to know. And then, as always, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Brook's my least favorite.
Least favorite?
Yes.
Get out of here.